Howdy, and welcome to the Feed Bandit Podcast, where we have fun talking all things hunting, and in the process, do our best to support small and family-owned businesses in the hunting space. Here are your hosts and resident bandits, Jimmy Byrne and Richard Kinchlow. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit Podcast. Jimmy El Bandito here, and as I always say, I'm joined by the old corn bandit, Richard. How are you doing, sir?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Doing fine, sir. Doing fine.
All right. Good. Yeah. Well, just real quick for everybody out there listening, new or old, if you haven't joined our email list yet, please be sure to do that today. When you do, we'll send you cool tips, awesome tricks, interesting stories, and some killer hunting deals. We'll deliver those straight to your inbox. And we've made it easy for you to join. All you got to do is text the word bandit to 345-345 and go through the prompts there, and you'll join the hunt with us. We'd love to have you in our community. Again, text the word bandit to 345-345. All right. Well, today I think what we wanted to talk about, since we are now in the June month, I guess hurricane season has started in certain areas of the country, but we wanted to talk about what are the animals doing out there right now. I mean, of course, what they're doing could be affected or dependent upon how range conditions are, what the weather's like, all these type of things. Now it's getting hot. Yeah. So, us as human animals, we're starting to, be like, oh God, it's so hot outside. Like, but so what are we doing? Well, we are retreating into our caves of air conditioning. So, but what are the animals doing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, as far as the, we'll start with the turkeys, since they just got being abused by the turkey hunters. Right. It was funny. Just about a week ago, I was at Rancho Bandito, and I actually I heard a couple of birds still gobbling. Oh, really? So they're kind of finishing up, but we should start to see poults here pretty soon. And poults, if you don't know, are baby turkeys. So the baby turkeys will start to be hatching here, and I think at the ranch I know it's definitely in June, and I think it tapers off kind of towards the end of June. But should be a great year for them. The turkeys had, being that we had such a wet April and May in Texas in general, for the most part, I think we had a really good nesting season for the hen turkey. So that's exciting for the most part, because I know on wood here. Yeah, those corn rats come. Yeah, come November, December, we'll be whistling a different tune. But it's cool to see them, and I bet you we'll have a pretty good survival rate of turkey poults. We've got a lot of, again, just on Rancho Bandito, we've got a lot of good tall grass that they can hide in and keep them safe from predators. So that's kind of what they're doing. They're just kind of hunkering down, and they're starting to to feed and all that kind of stuff. Really, the turkeys are kind of done for the year. Really.
Can you imagine having all those feathers in June and July?
Oh yeah. I cannot cool down. Why didn't God make me color white? Right.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, they made one of them at Rancho Bandito.
That's true. Right? Yeah. No, and you see the rare instance where you've got a few of the different color phases.
But he didn't last very long.
So. No, he certainly did not. You stick out like that, you're going to get shot.
Right.
So but so the white-tailed deer, kind of the main focus for us and for a lot of hunters out there. Right now is key. We said the same thing back in January. Right now those antlers are definitely popping out. Still got time to get the protein feeders in there, okay? Again, I keep going back to Rancho Bandito, and that's obviously because where we know, but we have had so much rain that they're definitely still hitting the protein feeders, which is exciting, but they have tapered off a little bit, and that's because we have so much natural forage out there, and that's a great thing. That is a great thing. Again, the deer protein feeders that we have out there are for supplemental feeding purposes only. So you can really tell when the forage starts to get depleted or the heat really starts to ratchet up with no rain, because your deer protein pellet consumption really starts to go up. So right now, it's not they're not really hitting it. As far
other
as
animals might be, though. I mean,
yeah. That's very true. That's
other thieves out there.
Yeah, that's the Feed Bandit mascot is
that's right.
does not care about the weather or the time of year. Those turds are going to be all over your protein feeders, but we have found a way to stifle their ability to rob one of our Outback protein feeders. So we'll be talking about that one here in a couple of weeks. We're going to go down there. Anyways, we're real excited. We've done some stuff with Coon Hood and those guys there, and we've got some hoods on one of our feeders, and we're excited to see some very, very agitated and frustrated coon. So
that's right.
Just stay tuned for that. But it's fawning season for sure. East Texas is definitely. In fact, I think East Texas is probably getting close to being out of it. The fawning season. Everything kind of starts that way and progresses, further this way. But the fawns are whitetail fawns are definitely starting to drop. I personally have not seen any, but again, it's been so freaking thick that it's definitely tough to see them. But that's going to be great. That's going to help keep them protected from the coyotes and the bobcats, predators of that nature. So right now, the fawns are going to be suckling from mom. All right, so mom is kind of doing double time. So again, if it starts to get dry, all right, and that natural forage starts to dry up. Okay, those does are going to be going to those protein feeders, those mineral stations, things of that nature, to try to get what they can for themselves and for the kiddo. Okay, so again, very important to have those stations there for them. Speaking of that, the predators also know that where there's mom, there's probably a baby this time of year. So when you're out there and I'm thinking about putting a protein feeder out there, be cognizant of where you're putting it. Okay, you want to put it in the area where the deer, whatever you're feeding for. So in this case, white-tailed deer, you want to put it somewhere maybe where the deer have the ability to get in there, but then they can get to cover really quickly. All right, so if a pack of coyotes comes in or a bobcat comes in down or upwind of them and they're stalking that deer, you want to make it so that try to put that feeder to where those deer have a really good escape route. So just something to think about.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so that's kind of what your deer are doing. Again, the bucks are starting to grow antlers. Still too early to tell, what you're going to have, but typically, when all the stars align, which knock on wood, they're starting to. We had a pretty mild winter again at Rancho Bandito, mild winter, but a really wet one. Okay, and when you combine those factors in with good range conditions, again because of the rain, and then not a lot of grazing, we've got the recipe for a potentially really good antler year. So we'll see. Again, everything that a whitetail buck ingests goes to his body first, and then to his antlers. So hopefully they've been taking care of their bodies, and they can spare some for their racks. So it remains to be seen.
Well, talking about the whitetails, we kind of hammered on this a little bit through some emails we've sent, but also on some podcasts. That's now's a good time to start putting out your cameras, right? To start seeing what you have and getting an idea of what's going where and everything, and then you just keep that kind of research going from now, up until deer season itself. So it'd be kind of cool to see the progress of those bucks you're seeing now that maybe don't have, like you said, you can't really tell exactly what they'll be like, but maybe you can get familiar with them, and start seeing.
It's a great point.
Yeah,
that's a really great point. Actually, boy, I never even thought about that. Good for you.
Oh,
I like that. No, that's really good.
See, that's me thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
I know you love that phrase.
Boy, that's number one right there, man. I have to recover from that one. Yeah. I've got, for those of you, well, most of you don't know me, but I've got certain buzzwords that really, really bother me. Can totally throw me off kilter. That's one of them. Anyway, But yeah, and so talking about this time of year again, we're blessed with a lot of water, but having a good source of water available for your animals, that is huge. For those of you who are hunting on cattle ranches, all right, that's obviously primarily what you do in Texas. I tell you what, having a good, clean source of water is outstanding. Now, again, we've had lots of rain, so really not maybe something you got to worry about right now. But once those creeks start to dry up, once those big tanks start to dry up, and the deer will be naturally looking for water. During the morning and during the evening. So if you've got some actual stock tanks that cattle or livestock use, I bet you, I bet you a lot of money that the rancher would really love you if you and this is a great project for kids actually, especially those turd teenage boys. Get their little butts over there and clean all the algae out of those tanks for that rancher. I mean, having good clean water for the deer and for the other animals is definitely definitely a good thing.
So have them do that after they've finished filling all the feeders.
Oh yeah.
And they can kind of cool off while they're doing it.
That's exactly correct.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And while you, the father, grandfather, mother, whoever you may be, gets to sit back in the vehicle in the shade and drink cold beer and say, "Well, boys, that feeder ain't gonna fill itself, or that trough ain't gonna clean itself." So yeah.
That hole ain't gonna dig itself.
That hole ain't gonna. God, what a great line. Oh, absolutely died. And that guy didn't skip a beat, and that kid was like, "Oh, Dad." So yeah, water's something to be thinking about. Again, with all that being said, also I think putting your game cameras up near water is a really cool, fun thing to do too, especially with the kiddos. I've actually got a bunch of material. I'm going to write a little piece on the importance of water. I've got some pictures that we just never got to from last summer. And last summer, during July, we did hit 3 or 4 weeks, but my God, it was brutal. Do you remember that? I mean, it was absolutely brutal.
My memory's probably scarred from
right.
it. I mean, it's I sometimes I tend to just kind of hibernate through July.
Right.
I think.
No, believe me me too. July's a really tough one. It's a really tough one. But yeah, I'm gonna post some pictures of some what you can do with your cameras around water sources. Because again, really, water is one of the common things that all animals have. They all need it. Whether you're an owl or a mouse or a raccoon or a deer or a mountain lion, Sasquatch, whatever they all got to drink. So it's a good place to put your cameras. So really, I'd say probably the next animal that we'll target would probably be the feral hog. And the feral hog is doing what the feral hog does all their other times the rest of the year, making a lot of mess, But again, they're very kind of similar to the critters as well. Now with the feral hog, they pretty much eat just about anything. Okay, so a white-tailed deer won't get their nose in the ground, start grubbing for tubers and for worms and all that kind of stuff, whereas the hogs will. So the hogs definitely have got a lot more readily available food sources, even when it starts to dry up. But I'll tell you what, if you can stomach it, starting in the summer, it's a good time to pop those hogs. Of course. And if you have the intention of eating one, you need to pop it, and boy, if you can, just put it in the cab with you, trying to cool it down.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine? Hey, if you do that, please send us an email at howdofeedpanda.com.
A picture, please.
Yeah, especially if you're gagging, because that, again, gagging to me is one of the funniest things ever. It's fantastic. So yeah, no, but out there, the popping the hogs, this time of year is a good thing too. So,
I mean, if you see them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, that's like it gets too hot. Whatever. They're in the shade. No doubt. That's where you need a thermal scope or something. Yep. I don't know, something where even in the evening you can see them down in that in that stuff.
Oh yeah. So again, the summertime, like my compadre said, it's starting to get hot. I mean, it's the beginning of June here, and but this is it, man. We've got to knuckle down, and we just got to get through it because, dude, dove seasons. I mean, it's close. It is actually close. I think we're actually 204 days away from Christmas too, which, as you know, is a big thing to me. So I'll be getting the Christmas tree out here shortly. Listening to the Christmas music here shortly. So
shortly.
Yeah. Shortly, 3 months, 4 months, yeah. So
Piece of work.
Yeah, it's good. I tell you, we'll talk a little bit about since we're talking about kind of what the critters are doing. Something else I was thinking about is, the dove. The dove or something. Obviously, for those of you who are regular listeners, they're near and dear to my heart. And those gray little turds, they just make me happier than anything. What I really love, what the dove are doing right now is they're starting to get into their spring and obviously their summertime pattern. But a lot of people think, well, it's really only the migratory dove. Well, that's not necessarily the truth. Like this time of year again, where we hunt, we've got a lot of corn crops. Those corn crops come up. That's a good place to scout for dove. Again, if the corn crops come up, and they're able to get some to harvest off of it, which I think is in mid-July. That's a great food source for dove. So if you're looking at trying to dove hunt a place, keep your eyes peeled for those types of things, because just because it's not dove season doesn't mean they're not there. You've got a lot of local dove that don't fly south and don't fly north. They just hang out here. So
what are sunflowers doing?
Yeah, so the sunflowers are still pretty small. Well, it depends. Okay, that's a good point. Some are out. So like I actually saw some near one of our barns that were completely and totally out. And in a month they'll be dead. But in the areas where you hunt for them and you till or you're trying to grow other stuff and they come up. Right now I think some of the ones that we've seen that have just come up naturally, I think, Jimmy, they're probably knee high right now. Okay. So, again, the good thing is they're a weed, and they thrive in really terrible conditions. So, but they also thrive when it gets really good too. So, the rain keeps coming. I think we'll be in good shape. Yeah. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Oh, this will be an interesting dove season after the last couple.
It's seriously. Do you hear that? That's my tongue filling up with cankerthorn. It's stress.
Was that the breathing of frustration and exasperation?
Yeah. Oh, it's incredible. Yeah. Because I just can't do it again. I've got to have a good dove season. I gotta have one. So, anyway.
Well, stay tuned, everybody. We'll see if Richard survives through dove season intact.
I hope. God, I hope. Maybe we'll do a live podcast out there with me. Lots of editing because there's lots of bad words.
We could put the E on that episode. They were explicit.
Yes. Yes.
So people get the full, experience of. And then what comes out of my mouth when I'm constantly missing the birds, So.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
And then you can hear our friend Matt constantly shooting and.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, buddy, shells ain't free, son. Oh, and then you hear all of us screaming at Texas Tech football, which.
Yes.
God willing, Mr. Cold Cut, as I like to call him, he's worked great magic with our basketball team. Fantastic. He has worked incredible things.
Baseball.
Baseball, really all the balls except for football. And
arguably the most important one, of course. But
there's no arguing. Yeah, one of our friends he's a Yankee. I love him. He's actually. Oh, by the way. So he's a Yankee, so he's a big basketball fan. By the way, Jimmy, he didn't even know about our podcast.
Oh my! How is that possible?
That's what I said. He's like, Rich, you never told me.
Yeah,
like,
that's
are
on
you
us.
Crazy. Yeah, no, yeah. So So it's funny. Like I guess this was like 2 weeks ago. He's listened to like all what are we 50 episodes or something like that. He's listened to all of them now. He's caught up. He's like, it's fantastic. I love it. It's great. So he's gonna really love it. And then we're talking about it right now. But oh yeah. So you know what he says, and he says it just to piss me off, and it works because it's making me angry right now. He's like, yep. Pretty much, Big 12 is a basketball conference. Texas Tech, we've always been a basketball school. Like, shut up. A basketball school. We're a football school. That's West Texas. That's what we do. Right. Admittedly, watching the guys out there playing basketball, and of course in baseball too, was just awesome.
Oh,
it really, when it all boils down to, I just want to win. Meat judging included in that too.
Well, pretty much have that sport dominated.
Oh yeah,
the judging. So that's we're the Alabama football of beat judging.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that's.
It's
great.
Like because we talk to someone who goes there. It's like, so what's it like to lose, or or to whenever you're an Alabama fan, like what's that?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny. Speaking of, really, the last time Alabama was subpar. It was first us, remember, in the Cotton Bowl.
Oh yeah, and they won with the knee down touchdown. Remember?
Yeah. There was what was it like 9 to
12 to 9.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, did we even throw the ball? I mean, was this before the forward pass type score? What is going on here?
Oh, that's Leach like in his prime, almost to his prime, basically, yep. And one of our good friends.
God.
Yeah, the defense lost that game. We lost 12 to 9. How can you say that?
Yeah, we lost 12 to 9 compared.
Pretty
to
sure it wasn't the defense.
Game. Yeah, last week's game it was 65 to 58. Right.
Oh gosh. Anyway, we digress.
Oh God, that was funny. Anyway, yeah, we digress a lot. So. Anyways, yeah. So in conclusion, keep those protein feeders full. Keep those mineral stations going. Yes, keep the game cameras coming. Yeah, actually, somebody emailed us the other day about our opinion on corn feeders, and I think I'm paraphrasing here, but I think they said what's your recommendation on keeping corn feeders going. I will tell you and I think I answered you on the email as well, but I'll do it here as well so everybody else can hear. I think it's a really good question. Corn is just a starch, okay, just like it is for humans. It gives the deer a little bit of energy, but that's about it. There's really not a lot of nutritional levels to it. So, I mean, if that's what you want to do, if that's kind of what you want to do, to offer them a little something, especially when it's really miserably hot and dry, I'd say go ahead and do it.
And it kind of maybe help to kind of keep them around.
That's also, very right? Well. No, that's okay. Now that's a very good point. That's a really good point, man. That's number.
I'm
2.
on fire.
I really are. He's on fire. Talking about basketball again.
Right.
But yeah, no. So Jimmy's right. If you've got if you're on a 200-acre lease and you've got a couple other hunting leases near you, if maybe your rancher knows those ranchers and knows their hunters, and maybe they're not feeding during the summer. So if that's the case, just as Jimmy said, yeah, keep that corn feeder going. You'd be surprised how many critters you could, draw in from neighboring places. Who knows? Especially if you're an archery hunter, their pattern may not change all that much between now and that glorious first day of October or late September, whenever it is here in Texas. And who knows? Maybe that buck that was hanging out, on somebody else's property has started coming to you because you've kept your feeder going. So now that's a really good that's a good point.
Oh, thank you.
Good point. Yeah. Yeah. Way to go.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah, I don't claim to be the know-all, so
but you know a lot. So that's
it's mostly trial and error. I mean, we haven't even talked about all the failed projects I have.
That's a good idea.
Oh God! All my quail and all my quail stuff. What is it? What's that old saying? Well, he didn't fail. He just learned 697,000 ways how not to make a light bulb. Or
right.
I was like Eli.
Ways not to.
Yes, yeah. Which I'm like, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm still angry, So
That's a good point, though. I mean,
yeah.
Well, and for that episode, you'll have to take a picture of your what was the name of that rabbit decoy or whatever it was that you made? Duncan, was it Duncan?
Duncan, yes.
So that'll be the
funny you
podcast
say that.
picture.
Oh my God, that was so funny. I'll tell you what, man. I'm pretty advanced. I'm before my time, man. I mean, when it came to Duncan, there were no predator decoys back then. So it's amazing what you could do with styrofoam balls, paper mache, and a lot of gray fur. Of course, I have horrible friends who they laugh hysterically at Duncan. And by the way, those terrorists, they were trying to behead Duncan. So I consider them the original ISIS. And funny enough, I was at Rancho Bandito in one of the closets looking through all the little kid stuff, trying to find something for my little kids. And sure enough, what did I find? But I found Duncan's head. So it was really sad. Yeah. God, I forgot about Duncan.
Yeah, that's great.
Didn't work either. I'm like, look, Mr. Bobcat, look at that circular rabbit out there.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, you got anything else?
I think I'm done, man. I made a big enough fool of myself.
Okay. Well, we could try that again on next time when we talk. We do a podcast just on your 10,000 learning events. As we call it.
We'll start off with the quail fear because that's the one that really pissed me off. I still see it right now. I'm like, God, I had this grand plan. I spent so much of my father's money out there. We made them all by hand, and then I just didn't calculate the fact that there's significantly more moisture where we are than the Texas Quail Ranch.
Just a little bit.
Oh God, it just
Well, I don't think I would get out of that discussion unscathed because I think you and I have built some things together. It may not have quite worked that well, but
putty, duct tape, caulk, in the shop with about 20 beers in your system, it holds up great. It'll hold up to attack by Godzilla. Out there in the bush, nah.
Right. It's amazing how your quality, declines directly in proportion to the number of beers you drink.
Oh yeah. And then when you do screw up and you're dealing with deer protein pellets, 300 pounds of mushy protein pellets that have been rotting and festering in the sun equals major gag reflex.
Yes.
Also equals, just back truck up and just dump it in there and we'll just throw it in the dump. And I think I'll mess with it. Right. It's non-fixable. Yep.
Good stuff.
Well, that'll be fun. That'll be something to do in the summer while we're sitting here counting down the days, amigo. Counting down.
We ought to do that. We ought to do like a video tour of the stuff that we've built. Even if it's not working anymore.
True. Yeah. It'll be very similar to that. What's that super famous video you see about flying? It shows all the different early aircraft that never took off. Yeah. Yes. I go dig that stuff up. I don't know. Well, we'll have to find it. It's there somewhere.
Right. All right. Well, awesome. Well, that was a fun one. So everybody out there, hope you enjoyed hearing us banter about what's going on out in the field right now during the month of July. We'll keep doing these kind of. God, it is June. Well, why did I say July? Well, I was thinking about hibernating. That's what Yeah, the month of June. We'll revisit this topic probably maybe come July, definitely August as we get closer to dove season and everything, and kind of see what's going on with the weather. What are we seeing on Rancho Bandito? How do the animals look like? Stuff like that. So be sure to stay tuned. As well as for all the other kind of episodes we do, talking to other gear inventors and other service providers. So you'll want to stay tuned for that too. So, to stay on top of what's going on, if you haven't already, be sure to join our email list. I mentioned this at the beginning, but you can do that easily by texting the word bandit to 345 345. You'll get on the list, and we'll send you some cool stuff. Some cool information, some cool deals, things of that nature. So be sure to do that. Text Bandit to 345-345. All right, well, that about wraps this one up. As always, everyone out there, you have a good day, evening, whatever it is that you're listening to this, and we look forward to talking to you on the next podcast. Have a good one, and don't forget to support your local feed store. Take care. Thanks for listening to the Feed Bandit podcast. If you want to find new and innovative hunting gear and service providers not typically offered through the traditional big box hunting stores, come on over and join the hunt at feedbandit.com/join. When you join, as a bonus, you'll get our entertaining free e-guide of unique hunting tips and tricks. And a reminder to all you small businesses, feed stores, gear inventors, or entrepreneurs in the hunting space, if you'd like to get more exposure to potential customers by being featured on the Feed Bandit podcast, please let us know. We'd love to discuss what we can do for you and your business. Go to feedbandit.com/promote. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give us a rating and review on iTunes, as it would really help us out. Go to feedbandit.com/iTunes. Thanks everyone for listening. Until next time, please remember to support your local feed store.